In 1996 and 1997, the South African Police Service was on the hunt for two serial killers, who the press dubbed the Vemmerpan Killer and the Hammer Murders. They developed profiles for each of the two killers. The Hammer Murders involved someone who was showing up in shops and cafes, hitting employees with a hammer and robbing them. Some of the first victims survived these attacks, which happened close together in time, but later victims would be bludgeoned to death. Most of these victims were tailors who had their wallets stolen. The Vemmerpan murders happened almost exclusively in the Vemmerpan neighborhood of Johannesburg. There were two groups of victims here. One group involved men and women walking alone who were bludgeoned to death with rocks, and the other group were couples in cars. The killer would assault the pair, shooting the men and raping the women. In December 1997, police arrest a suspect in the Vemmerpan killings, Cedric Maake, who was cooperative, and he fessed up to those killings and those rapes. He would lead them around the area and point out the locations of his crimes, as they often do with serial killers. The police were continuing on with their Vemmerpan investigation anyway, because you never rely only on a confession. While they're busy doing that, Maake confesses to being the hammer killer as well. And it was then that the police connected the two sets of crimes and realized they only had one serial killer on their hands. He did not behave well in court. He would slam his head into the docks. He had frequent outbursts, and he threatened to do with the female prosecutor what he'd done with other victims. He laughed at and waved at victims' families. He ended up being charged with 36 counts of murder, 28 attempted murders, 15 rapes, 46 aggravated robberies, and weapons offenses, and he pled not guilty to all of them, but ended up being convicted of a majority of them, including 27 murders, and he was sentenced to a total of 1,340 years in prison. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying these videos and you want to see more, please click the subscribe button and hit those notifications so that you don't miss any uploads. We appreciate you. Thanks.